Here's to what a broke plant eater ate in a day. So we're going to start off with some leftovers. I have a leftover vegan pancake muffin that I made on Christmas morning. I'm in charge of making breakfast for my entire family, so these are just vegan pancakes that I pour into muffin tins so that I can make a whole bunch at one time and I don't have to worry about flipping pancakes. I can do other things. And to my vegan pancake muffin that I've warmed up, I'm going to add a teaspoon of organic peanut butter. Please, please, please make sure you are buying organic. Peanuts are highly sprayed with pesticides and you don't want those in your breakfast or your lunches. So I'm only going to add half a chopped banana onto my muffin here because I have a whole frozen banana back there in that green smoothie that I made. Check out my green mint matcha banana smoothie in my other video. And I just want to pack some more protein and some filler so that I'm nice and full and I don't go snacking around. And I'm going to add another teaspoon of peanut butter because who doesn't love peanut butter? Yum, yum, yum. So I'm just going to throw some hemp seeds on here as a topping. I love adding hemp seeds or extra nuts to whatever I can to continue adding some more protein, and this will keep me so nice and full. Here's my finished product. It's just an open face muffin with some bananas, peanut butter, hemp seeds, my green smoothie. It was friggin' bomb. You guys should totally try it. It took me like 3.5 friggin' seconds to make. So I already know that I'm going to want a snack later when I'm sitting on my couch. So I'm going to recreate one of my childhood favorites. My mom used to make these pudding cups and they were so delicious, but they were made with Cool Whip and Jello pudding. And I am going to make a veganized version. In this video, I only used 4 tablespoons of chia seeds and that didn't set. So definitely put in 6 tablespoons of chia seeds. 4 tablespoons of any sweetener you want. I used cane sugar. You can use liquid sweetener, whatever your little heart desires. And I also added 4 tablespoons of cacao powder. Cacao powder is full of so many antioxidants. It's so much better for you. And it's a superfood. I don't really know how else to explain it. So you can use cocoa powder, but cacao powder is definitely bringing it up a notch. And I added 1.5 cups of soy milk. You can add whatever milk you guys want and stir that around until all of that's nice and dissolved. You definitely don't want to leave any of the powder because it will taste chalky later, trust me. Once you've got that nice and smooth, just cover it up, put it in the fridge, and let it sit for about 4 to 6 hours. Next is lunch. I've got some leftovers here, so I'm just going to add a tablespoon of coconut oil to a cast iron pan. I usually make almost everything in a cast iron pan. I love the way everything tastes and how it cooks. So I'm just going to spread that coconut oil all around, and I have some vegan sausage that I chopped up, and I just kind of want to get this to a crumbly texture to add to my wrap. Once that's nice and cooked through, I'm going to add some leftover tofu scramble that I had. It has some chopped tomato, onions, spinach, lots of flavoring. I already added some vegan cheese, so I'm just pretty much warming this through so that I can throw it into a wrap. Now that that's cooked through, I'm just going to go ahead and add all of that to a whole wheat wrap that I've warmed up in the oven. I have some leftover almond cheese herb spread that I made a couple days ago, so I'll just spread that on there. It just adds some more flavoring. This is kind of like a lunch where I'm looking in my fridge to see what I had left over. And I have some organic spinach. I don't really feel like chopping it, but I don't like really whole leaf spinach. So I literally just rip it apart in my hands, and it saves a dish and a knife that I don't have to clean up. I'll add my tofu scramble that I had left over with some vegan sausage, and I will just form this into a wrap, and I just served it alongside a clementine to add some fruit to my lunch, and this was super filling, super easy to make. It took me all of, 2.5 minutes, and it kept me on the right track to eating healthy since I definitely splurged a little bit throughout the holidays. Just hitting you with a little vegan food porn here. And for dinner, I am just having some simple food. I have about half a cup of these grape tomatoes that I had left over in my fridge. that I'm just going to chop up. And remember, like, I'm just trying to have an easy day so that I get back on track without feeling overwhelmed. So I just chopped these up. I threw these in a bowl. I'm going to throw just a little spritz of olive oil and some salt and pepper to taste. This recipe is going to be super hard to talk to you guys about because this is literally how I cook. I just throw a bunch of spices and shit in a bowl, and it kind of tastes really good. So I'm going to try my best to tell you exactly what I did, but I spread it out on some parchment paper. I had these potato pancake type things that I got from IKEA. They're vegan and they're so delicious, and they're really not that bad for you as far as the nutritional value is concerned. 2 is a serving, so dude, I'm going to have 2. And these are vegetable balls that I also got from IKEA. They're super friggin' delicious and pretty filling. I'm just going to throw 8 of these vegetable balls on this parchment paper as well. And I'm going to roast them in the oven. I think it was 350 for 10 minutes. All right, so after 10 minutes, I took all of those things out of the oven, and you will see all of those friggin' spices I have over there in the corner. I'm going to try my best to tell you what the hell I did. But first, I flipped my potato pancakes so that both sides got nice and crispy, and I kind of just moved around the vegetable balls to make sure they weren't burning, and I got all of those. Oh yeah, I put some salt and pepper on my potato pancakes because you need salt and pepper on potatoes. And I got all of those tomatoes into my little container to make a sauce using my NutriBullet. All right, so I got these beautiful roasted tomatoes in this cup. I'm going to add half a cup of soaked cashews. If you don't have time to soak cashews, like just boil them for 10 minutes. I had time because I knew I was going to make some sort of sauce. And I just happen to have fresh parsley in my fridge. Most of the time I don't, but because I do, I don't want it to go bad. So I'm going to add about a handful, which turns into about maybe, I don't know, 2 tablespoons chopped up. It looked like when I rolled it up into a ball. And give me a second. I will be back. I got to go rinse those and come back and throw those inside of that cup. Got some salt and pepper. So like, you know, salt and pepper to taste. I don't really know how to describe how much that is. Turmeric, anytime I can add turmeric to something, I do. There's some garlic powder, basil. Dude, guys, I do this all the time, sorry. Some red chili flakes. That was thyme and oregano, or oregano and thyme. They both look the friggin' same. And that's onion powder. And I just add some water. And hopefully I show you exactly how much I put in there. Yeah, just below the parsley and right above the cashews. And I mix that up and I give it a taste before I figure out whether or not I like it. It smells good, but I'm going to add just a couple tablespoons more of water because it's pretty thick. I almost always add more garlic, a little bit of salt. And here's me thinking about what the heck I want to do now. So, I don't know, some more basil and probably added oregano because I friggin' love oregano. And, oh, I forgot nutritional yeast. So a couple pinches of nutritional yeast because I wanted it to be like a cheesy tomato sauce that I was going to add on my potato pancakes and my meatballs. And just a few more seconds in the NutriBullet, give it a little taste, and yeah, that's definitely good stuff. So I warmed that sauce on the stovetop, and I'm just going to pour it over top of my potato pancakes and my meatballs, and it tastes delicious, but it doesn't look delicious. So just for Instagram and to make sure that my eyes are eating just as much as my tummy are, I added some chopped tomato, some chopped spinach, and it didn't look just as pretty as I wanted it to. So I'm going to add some crushed cashews, and this is how I take my photos for Instagram. And there is the final product. It was so good. That was breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We are going to finish our snack. I've been soaking all day long about a 1/4 cup of cashews with 3 pitted dates. I'm going to add this organic coconut cream. It's totally not refrigerated. It's straight from my shelf because once again, I am trying to make a sauce from my mind and thinking about all the delicious things that would taste really, really good. I'm trying to like mimic a Cool Whip, but adding some different flavors and adding vanilla protein powder, a tablespoon. I use Sun Warrior just so that my pudding cup won't leave me wanting more of something. Half a teaspoon of vanilla is going into this. And as always, my blue agave. I'm just going to add a teaspoon of this because I already have dates in there and I don't want it to be too sweet. And that is 3/4 tablespoon of chia seeds because I want it to be fluffy and thick, and my coconut cream wasn't in the fridge, so I'm hoping that that'll take care of it. So here I'm just going to show you how this is looking so far. It's mimicking like a caramel cream sauce, and I'm totally not hating it. It tastes pretty friggin' good. It was thick. I had a second taste. And delicious. I didn't need to do anything else to this, but at this point, if it's too thick, you can add a little tiny bit of water, or if it's not sweet enough, you can add some more agave, and you can do whatever you want, but it tasted really good to me, so I just scraped it down and put it in the freezer while I finished making everything else, and it was kind of runny, but once I tasted it, I wanted it to keep the caramely taste. So we're going to grab, you can use Oreos, but I found these organic chocolate graham crackers that I used, and they were vegan. I just put them in a mini food processor and hit pulse a few times to chop them and crumble them up as fast as I could. And it made like a really nice fine ground chocolate crumble, basically. It was really good. So I attempted to do this in my mini food processor and it didn't work. As you can see, I still have all whole chia seeds left in that pudding. So I'm just going to throw it in my NutriBullet and let that blend. The pudding tends to look like a chocolate tapioca. And if you like tapioca pudding, like dope, you can eat it just like that. But I do not like tapioca pudding, and my kids do not like tapioca pudding. So I am just putting it in my NutriBullet to really, really smooth it out. I had to do it a few times, taking it off and stirring it around to make sure that it was pulling through. If you had like a Vitamix, which I do not, that would probably work even faster, but my NutriBullet worked just fine. It took a couple times, but it definitely smoothed out the pudding, and it was delicious. So your pudding will become like a very light color in comparison to what it looked like before you put it into your NutriBullet, and that's an indication that all of those chia seeds have kind of been ground up and are in your pudding. And here I'm just making sure that I get all of that deliciousness into my cup because I want to show you how good it looks. It really looks like, I don't know, like Jello pudding, like pudding cup worthy here. So here I'm just going to assemble these just like my mom used to. She used to make these cute little adorable cups, and every time we'd open the fridge we would be so excited that she took some time out of her super busy day to make them for us. So I took the cookie crumbles, I laid them down on the bottom of the little parfait that I'm going to be creating, and then I poured about like a heaping tablespoon of that caramel date coconut cream mixture that I made that is acting as my quote unquote Cool Whip. And I'm just making sure that I cover the cookie crumbles so there's a base, so the pudding's not just going right into the cookie crumble. So I'll just show you what that looks like there. And this pudding makes enough for 4 servings, so I'm just making sure everybody has an equal serving here so that no one is arguing, because this pudding is seriously delicious and I don't want anybody thinking that they got skimmed. That's what it looks like once your pudding layer goes on, and you're just gonna kind of repeat with the heaping tablespoon of the coconut date caramel cream sauce. I have no idea what to call this thing. And then you're just gonna put your cookie crumbles on top and it will look something like this. I think my dessert took longer than breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but once I had them all set and done, and that's what they look like, I put them in the fridge for about another hour, and this is what they look like on the inside. So delicious, so yummy.